Hi there. I'm Rickey Bevington, senior anchor and correspondent with Georgia Public Broadcasting. Welcome to the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young debate series. This is the debate among candidates for mayor of Atlanta. Due to the number of candidates who qualified and COVID safety restrictions, candidates have been divided into two debates. This is the debate among candidates who polled in the upper half. Let's meet the candidates for this debate. They are in alphabetical order. Antonio Brown serves on the Atlanta City Council, representing District 3. Andre Dickens serves on the Atlanta City Council, representing Post 3 at large. Sharon Gay is senior counsel at Denton's law firm. Rebecca King is a member of the Buckhead Condo Alliance and a member of Livable Buckhead. Felicia Moore is the Atlanta City Council president. Kasim Reed served 2 terms as Atlanta's mayor from 2010 to 2018. Richard Wright is a CPA at a local accounting firm. And now let's meet our panelists. Wilborn Nobles covers Atlanta City Hall for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and Rose Scott is the host of Closer Look on WABE. For complete rules on today's debate, please visit the Atlanta Press Club website, atlantapressclub.org. To start the debate, each candidate will be asked one question by one of the panelists. Candidates have 60 seconds to answer each question. Wilborn Nobles, you get the first question. Please ask your question to Antonio Brown.
Thank you, Rickey. Councilman Brown, this first question is related to government accountability. Activists and lawyers and victims of police shootings have criticized the city and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms for moving too slowly on those cases. They say the city is way too slow to settle them and that it leaves victims in a limbo with no closure. Do you agree with that assessment, and how can we address this issue?
So I absolutely do agree with that assessment, and I believe that we've also failed to give officers their proper due process. And we've seen a backlash, not just within our communities, but the impact on the morale of our officers within the Atlanta Police Department. I personally believe that we need to ensure that there's an independent review process when complaints are filed against our police officers that takes away any politics, any personal or political interest from the equation, and allows something to be rendered that is completely unbiased. I have not seen that yet, and I believe it's where we need to focus our attention. Thank you for the question.
Rose Scott, your turn to ask a question of Kasim Reed.
Thank you. Good evening. Good to see y'all again for the, 4th time? Mr. Reed, this current administration has adopted legislation as it relates to a board of ethics. And although in your administration, not you, but other folks who have either been indicted or, been pled guilty to wrongdoings, what can you do to ensure that you will either strengthen that policy, or do you even feel the need that it should be strengthened if you are elected again?
Well, Rose, thank you for the question, and thank you to the Atlanta Press Club for hosting this important conversation. I fully support the Board of Ethics, and when I was mayor of Atlanta, we increased funding for the Board of Ethics. So I think that it's wholly appropriate. It will have my robust support, but we're going to go further beyond that. All of my direct reports will have quarterly ethics training for the entire time that I'm in office. I, along with my direct reports, will publish our income tax returns every April 15th. No individual who's filed a personal or business bankruptcy will have any role at all in my administration. And for the first time in the history of the city of Atlanta, we're going to have lobbyist registration, both on the council side and for the office of mayor, so that anyone that is lobbying the mayor's office or council will be known.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wilborn, your question for Richard Wright.
Mr. Wright, there was been a lot of discussion among different candidates who said that they believe the city, the voters feel disillusioned by the current top polling candidates because they've all held office before, the majority of them. What do you have to say to voters who are trying to distinguish among all of you? How do you stand out?
Well, first, I'd like to thank the Atlanta Press Club for hosting this event. I stand out in really speaking to transparency as a mayor. I come from the corporate background, so every quarter we have to do what's called a 10K, and annually a 10Q, then a 10K. And so I believe in transparency. So every quarter I will release what's called a 10A, and that's going to be a form to the citizens. It's going to consist of material, financial data, an MD&A analysis, an ESG report, and also a report card for the citizens of Atlanta to be able to grade my administration. I think that that's the way that we should move forward. That's the way that I plan on moving forward, to build the relationship, the all-important relationship between the city residents and the mayor.
Thank you. Rose, you get to ask a question of Andre Dickens.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickens, it's estimated that 60% of Atlanta is zoned for single-family housing. Now, I know there's current pending legislation on council, but voters need to know where you stand on this issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to the Press Club, and thank you all for all that you do in our community. This is an important issue at this time. We are currently looking at legislation that has been authored to be able to densify our city. But we have to do that carefully. There are lots of people that are moving into our city, and we want to make sure we do this appropriately. There's so much vacant land that we already have in the city of Atlanta that we need to build on. 800 plus acres of Atlanta Housing Authority land that we can densify and build mixed income communities there, as well as along our MARTA stations, where we can also have housing right next to transit so people can get to where they're going very easily without a car. And our car dependency is too high right now. So what I think is, rather than forcing it throughout all communities, I think we ought to use the MPU process to allow each community to decide how they grow in density. I do support accessory dwelling units like in the backyard, and also duplexes, triplexes, but I want to make sure we do that in the appropriate corridors across the city.
Thank you. Wilborn, your turn to ask a question of Sharon Gay.
Ms. Gay, please briefly address the concerns and discussions related to the privatization of the city's water system during the Mayor Bill Campbell administration.
Well, that was after I left, so I actually know almost nothing about it. I served in Mayor Campbell's first term from 94 to early 98 when we were getting the city ready for the Olympics, and we had an extraordinary amount of work to do to rebuild the infrastructure, to do all the things that was necessary to permit all the projects to get the city open. I think probably 2 years after I left, the mayor and the council made a decision to seek bidders to privatize the water system, but I don't know any more about that than any other private citizen. I was not involved in the decision in any capacity.
Rose, you have the next question to Rebecca King.
Thank you. Ms. King, you have said that you want to partner with the Atlanta Board of Education to address adolescent crime and truancy. And my question to you is, do you have data that suggests that there is a high percentage of that in APS?
It's not really about being an APS. Thank you for the question. The situation that we see on the street, children selling water, running in and out of traffic, they need funds, and we need to make sure that they're safe selling things. And we also need to make sure that they're in school during school hours. This past 2 years have been tough for everyone, but to have children on our streets riding in and out of traffic, we need parental guidance, and we need our schools to guide as well to make sure that we are working with our youth to give them the opportunity to succeed in life.
Wilborn, you get the final question in this round for Felicia Moore.
Madam President, there are concerns about you being too friendly with Republicans, to the point where recently some have tried to link your politics with former President Donald Trump. What do you have to say about these concerns?
Well, first and foremost, people need to know that the text that they received yesterday, timing right before you start to vote, was very unfortunate. It was a disgraceful act. The Republicans have not endorsed me, nor has any other political party. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and that whole text was a hoax. And so people need to understand when they get information, because obviously this campaign is doing very well and someone is very, very nervous that we are being successful in this election. And since that is the case, please be on guard for information. And if you think for 1 second that there may be a question as to whether it is correct, it probably is not. I am honest, I'm open with people. You know me, I've always been the same way. I didn't change overnight when I'm running. And so you need to understand that the information that's coming out is incorrect and a political dirty trick.
That concludes the first round of this debate. The candidates will now ask a question to an opponent of their choice. So far in this debate, everybody has been on time. Thank you so much for following our floor manager's direction. So here's the math for the next round. 30 seconds to ask a question, 60 seconds to respond, and the candidate who asks the question will have 30 seconds for a rebuttal. By random selection, Felicia Moore, you may ask the first question.
Yes. Mr. Reed, you headed the most corrupt administration in Atlanta history. The rap sheet, people jailed, indicted, awaiting trial, $30 million and counting for DOJ responses, and it keeps going. The tone is set from the top. Criminals like your melody. Why should Atlanta voters believe that you are singing a different tune?
Well, I'm not singing a different tune at all. What I'm offering voters is a clear choice. The bottom line is I never dishonored my office, and I kept my word to the people of Atlanta. I am here because Atlanta is in a crisis that occurred under your watch. Crime is up 58%, and 157 people were murdered last year. You are attempting to smear my name despite the fact that I am not under investigation, and you're doing that to distract from your own record. A record of a record high tax increase, a record of not funding police officers when they needed help, a record of allowing the police department to shrink, and a record of allowing people to be murdered, all on your watch. And you never said a word, but what you did do was to always vote to raise your salary.
30 seconds for a rebuttal.
My record does not include being under investigation of any kind by any federal authorities. It does not include having the need to have criminal defense attorneys. My record has been stellar, and I've served with integrity and will continue to do so. You always said, and you said it to me directly, nothing goes down in City Hall unless you know about it. I told you I believed you then, and I believe you now. You led the most corrupt administration in Atlanta history.
And the statement that you said that I said is a complete lie. I never said nothing goes down in City Hall.
We're going to move on to the next candidate. Rebecca King, you get the next question.
Thank you. President Council Moore, I would like to know what you will be doing differently than you've done since your city council days and as president council to tackle the rising crime, as has been mentioned, and our crumbling infrastructure and homelessness.
Thank you for that question. So what I will be doing different is I will be the chief executive officer of this city. I will be the mayor, and all of the departments of the city will be under my control as the mayor of the city. I've done my job on the legislative side, and I've passed legislation to pass for increases for our police officers, our public safety, both police and fire and corrections officers. I've developed rules and laws that will help keep people in the city of Atlanta safe. I've also tried to make sure that our most vulnerable citizens, our seniors, are safe by passing Maddie's Call to make sure that we can find people and save resources in our department. And it has also been adopted statewide. So I will take my legislative background and my policy-making background, which I have so woefully used to be able to bring the city together, and I will also be able to execute it as mayor of this city.
30-second rebuttal.
If that's the case, then why is Buckhead leaving the city, or attempting, I should say? I've already talked to them and have been working to keep them in the city with my administration.
Because I'm not the mayor yet.
We're going to move on to Sharon Gay. Your turn to ask a question of one of your opponents.
Yes. I have a question for Mr. Reed, just as a lawyer to lawyer. Widespread reports have that the cost to the city of hiring outside counsel for the investigations that have been going on for several years has been about $30 million and rising. There's still at least 3 trials yet to occur, and I have no idea what cost the city would incur. How can you assure us that the city won't keep having to expend millions and millions to pay for the city's cost of managing its response to these investigations? And would you use some of your fundraising prowess to help replenish the city's coffers?
Well, I think that's a good question. I think that we had to respond to a federal investigation because there was wrongdoing within our administration. And I think you would know about that well since you worked for Mayor Campbell. And during Mayor Campbell's administration, similarly, you had to respond. And the fact of the matter is that we're going to make concrete changes. I just laid out a new direction for us. And we're going to make sure what happened never happened again. And what I'd also point out is you never had a complaint when I was paying legal bills to your law firm. You acted as my campaign's counsel for 7.5 years. My law firm was Denton's. When I was paying your legal fees, you were delighted to accept them. So you're a person who was chief of staff or deputy chief of staff for Bill Campbell, and you come on television and talk about ethics and integrity, and you were there the whole time.
30-second rebuttal.
I was not there the whole time. As I said, I left 2 months into the second term. I did not see any, all the criminal activity occurred several years after I left. I didn't see any of it. I wasn't aware of any of it. I had no connection to any of it. I was never even interviewed by the FBI. And when Mayor Franklin was elected, she appointed me to her transition task force on ethics. And I helped rewrite the city's ethics code and create the Office of Ethics Officer, which still exists today.
That's very convenient to say 25 years later.
We're going to move on to Andre Dickens. You have an opportunity to ask a candidate of your choice a question.
Yes, thank you. Kasim Reed, 7 individuals that were top officials in your administration were either indicted or convicted of a crime, of corruption. These individuals were right under your nose. They reported to you. And now you say that you have changed. Given that you say that you changed, yet one of those individuals has made one of those convicted individuals has made a major contribution to your campaign. This does not indicate that you have made any such change at all. How can we trust that you've made a change when you still have a blind spot to corruption even today?
Andre, you're the Wile E. Coyote of this. The bottom line is this. I understand and accept responsibility for the things that happened in my administration, the actions that were taken. But if you look at the individuals, their behavior did not relate to systemic corruption of your government. Corruption at Hartsfield-Jackson, absolutely not. Corruption at bid rigging, absolutely not. We have a lot of work to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But the one thing that I can guarantee you is that Andre Dickens isn't the person to talk about it. He left a bankruptcy. He left owing $1.3 million to women and men without ever being held accountable. And then he used a false address to actually run for Atlanta City Council. Unfortunately, I have the bankruptcy petition right here. You should see how he lived his life while he's talking about mine.
30-second rebuttal.
Yeah, that's categorically false. Yes, I had a bankruptcy. In 2010, during the Great Recession, millions of people lost their job, millions of people lost their homes, and 1.5 million people filed bankruptcy. I had a furniture business from 2002 to 2010, and that business failed during the housing crisis because furniture goes with housing. But I paid all my employees. That business had 20 employees, 3 locations, and even Kasim Reed was a customer. This business was good, and then we need to talk about the moral bankruptcy of you having 7 people in your administration to be able
Antonio
to get
Brown,
indicted.
we're going to move on.
And so you did a
to,
great job selling furniture, but you never paid back the $1.15 million
we are going to move on
that
to
you owed to
Antonio
creditors.
Brown's question.
Bankruptcy is legal.
A
and I did it in a
30-second
proper way.
question.
What
And I
you
know
and
you're
your
proud of it.
administration has
Gentlemen,
I
done
know
is
you're proud of it.
illegal.
We have a lot
When
of
they've
ground
gone
to
to
cover
jail, that's
tonight, and I'm
illegal.
going to ask you to
Bankruptcy
stick to
is
your
a legal
time.
process.
Gentlemen,
Can I please ask my question? Thank
Antonio
you.
Brown, your question. 30 seconds.
Andre, my question is for you. You are a very data-driven individual, and you've spoken about a certain number of officers that you would add to APD based on the authorized level of the number of officers that we've maintained within the Atlanta Police Department. Statistics show that Atlanta right now has over 1,600 officers, and we have more officers per capita than the state,
Please get to your
national,
question.
and peer city average. How do you justify the number of officers you seek to add within your administration?
Yeah, thank you, Antonio, for that question. We have lost a number of officers, and so what I say is I want to hire 250 in the first year to get to 400 by the second year. And so this is to replace those that are missing, those that we have vacancies. I've gone out to Zone 1 and Zone 2, and we have officers that are 11 officers covering 14 beats sometime. So what I want to do is just get us back to the level that we should be at. We authorize as a city council 2,039. I think that if we add 250 to 400 officers very rapidly and have them trained in 21st century policing model to be able to have them to be racially sensitive and also to make sure that they have conflict resolution and that they can walk the beat to do community-based policing, I think we'll have the right tone and the right relationship between our police force and the citizens of Atlanta. I believe that's a proper number to get 250 to 400, and we won't be over-policed by doing that. But thank you for that question.
30-second rebuttal.
I have no rebuttal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Kasim Reed, please ask your question.
Yes, my question is for Ms. Moore. The Atlanta Beltline has been a path-breaking project in the life of the city. A $600 million public investment has led to $6 billion in private investment. I would like to know why you voted against creating the Atlanta Beltline and whether you continue to think that was the right decision on the vote.
Well, I agree with the first part. It has been a transformational project in the city, and I am proud to have supported many projects, including the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, to make sure that people could still live around the Beltline. The vote that I cast that was not in support of the Beltline wasn't the project itself. It was the funding source, the tax allocation district. We were incorporating areas in town that do not meet the test to have a tax allocation district, and thus we ate up all the capacity for the tax allocation district, and we left areas like in the district I represented at the time, Donnelly Hollowell Parkway, other areas like Hamilton Road and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard over by Turner Field. We left those areas without the ability to have that tool to be able to use and revitalize their community. So that was my no vote. But after the council passed it, there were several votes, and all of them have been in support because it's a wonderful concept.
30-second rebuttal.
Ms. Moore has repeatedly voted against the Atlanta Beltline. We have a thorough document of those votes more than 4 times. Essential elements for the Atlanta Beltline and its creation and its maintenance in order for it to become what it has become for the city of Atlanta were repeatedly voted against by Ms. Moore.
And if you can count, there were more yeses than there were noes.
Before we get to the next question, and Richard Wright, you have a final question, I would like, on behalf of the Atlanta Press Club, to remind our candidates that props are not allowed during this debate. Thank you so much. Richard Wright, your final question in this round.
Yes, my question is for former Mayor Reed. Please define leadership.
I think leadership is having a bold vision for either yourself or a group of people, setting a plan, and then executing on the plan to achieve your goal and win for as many people as possible.
30-second rebuttal.
I think part of leadership is knowing when to relinquish power. In January of 2017, President Obama sat in his office and shook the hand of a man who questioned his citizenship, all to transfer power. That's the second most important part of leadership, is the ability to transfer power. And so I'm asking you, as a former 2-term mayor, why are you running again? That's well, I'll say this.
That is your time. Thank you so much. That concludes our second round. For those just joining us, this is a debate for candidates for mayor of Atlanta. Due to restrictions from COVID, candidates have been divided into two debates. We will now go back to the panel to ask questions of each candidate of their choice until we run out of time. And I will just point out that there's the question, and then candidates have 60 seconds to respond. As a point of moderator privilege, I may ask a question of the candidates. However, our trustee panel is doing a great job so far with questions, and I will determine when and if a rebuttal is appropriate. We will begin with Rose Scott with the first question.
Thank you, Rickey. This question is for Councilmember Antonio Brown, and it goes back to the community. If there is a developer that is coming into a community, and especially with the district that you are representing, and you know that those residents and business owners have concerns about a development, can you ensure, if you are elected mayor, that no development will get a green light from your office if they are not willing to commit to a binding agreement with that said community and neighborhoods?
Thank you so much for that question, Rose. And absolutely, as a city council member, I have advocated for community benefits agreements, specifically in some of our lower end communities that have unfortunately been disenfranchised by development coming into the community. As a council member, I've also negotiated two major multi-million-dollar deals within some of our most underserved communities to ensure that there was at least a minimum of 30% affordable housing being built within that development. And I think that our law department, as mayor, must be equipped with helping to protect these community benefits agreements within the communities between our developers. Thank you so much, Rose.
Wilborn, it is your turn to ask a question.
Mayor Reed, you have said once at one of these forums that if not for crime, affordable housing would be the most pressing issue that Atlanta is facing. What can be done to work with different organizations and different households to help get more people off the waiting list for housing vouchers?
Thank you for the question. I think that we need to begin building vertical construction right away. We own 877 acres, the city itself. I think that we should identify NGOs and not-for-profits and really welcome them into the city as quickly as possible. I also think that we need an Office of Anti-Displacement to help people who are being pushed and taken advantage of as well. And so my plan is centered around using the real estate that we have, partnering with the private and not-for-profit sector, building new construction, activating the $30 million Choice Neighborhoods grant we won from President Barack Obama, and not raising your property taxes the way that Ms. Moore did when she voted for the largest property tax in history.
Rose, you have the next question.
Thank you. This question is for City Council President Felicia Moore. President Moore, whether it was the Gulch, the Georgia State development, or the new stadium, in some instances you did not have a vote. However, there were some concern from the community, from the residents, and all these developments went through. How can you ensure that if you are elected mayor, that the same thing won't continue to happen, that communities and neighborhoods feel like their voice is not being heard when these big-time developments come in?
Well, as you know, I've been around when all of those projects were had either as president or council member, and it starts with the beginning of the process. Most times these deals, quote unquote, come through at the 11th hour. Some of them pulled up, unfortunately, at the very end of a council meeting, and people are expected to vote on it, and unfortunately, a majority of the council would. We've got to start with our community and let them know what's going on. That's why I really believe in transparency in government and having those conversations with the community and then developing what the community wants as part of the project, not an afterthought of the project. And so they will know that when we have a major deal, when it is time, we will come to the community, we will sit down with them, we'll make them a part of it, we will memorialize it in whatever way we legally can to make sure that they're assured that they will get what they ask for in a community benefits agreement from my administration.
Wilborn, next question.
Councilman Dickens, you have referred to yourself during your press conferences as the jobs mayor. eager to create a Department of Labor for the city. However, Atlanta has one of the highest rates of income inequality in the country. What can you do to rectify that? And would that include enacting universal basic income?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question because Atlanta has a 4% income immobility, meaning that you only, and it's the highest in the nation, that you have only a 4% chance of making it from poverty to the upper middle class. That's disturbing. That's why we are a tale of two cities, so much prosperity, but also so much poverty. This is why I go to CEOs and CIOs and leaders across the city, and I say, I don't care that you're just building buildings in our city. It's important to know how many Atlantans will be in your buildings. So we have to train people. All this untapped talent around this city, we have to train people to get these great jobs. This is what I've done with TechBridge and trained hundreds of people to be able to go from poverty to prosperity. They're getting $60,000 jobs in just 4 months. What I want to do when I'm mayor is blossom programs like that and to create this Atlanta Department of Labor that works with unions to create apprenticeships to make sure that people are able to work in all these fantastic organizations that are coming to the city of Atlanta so that we grow this city in a balanced way.
Thank you so much. Next question from Rose.
Thank you. Ms. Gay, can you tell the audience when and if there was a time when you were with Bill Campbell's administration that you spoke up, you spoke out against something that you knew ethically was wrong?
Well, again, I'm not sure why we're spending all the time on something, one place I worked 27 years ago. I was there in the first term, and there were no accusations of ethical or improper or criminal behavior that occurred in that first term. I was very mindful that in the procurement process in local governments or any government is where corruption can occur. Certainly we saw that in subsequent administrations. So I worked hard. I didn't have any direct authority over purchasing. All I did was when purchasing decisions were made, contracts were awarded, I took it to the city council to get their approval. And I worked really hard to make sure that, as best I could tell, all the procedures had been followed, everything that was supposed to be done was done correctly. If there was any confusion or lack of clarity, I went back to the departments, made sure I could clearly understand it, and clearly defend those decisions before the city council in public meetings on TV. And if I wasn't certain that it was ready, I wouldn't take it to the council until I was able to assure that.
Thank you. Next question from Wilborn Nobles.
Ms. Gay, Ms. King. What is your strongest argument to Buckhead residents to persuade them against Buckhead cityhood?
We need to have a plan to come together in terms of fighting crime and homelessness. If we leave city of Atlanta, we're not solving anything. Crime is not going to stop at an intersection. We need to tackle this head on. It's been going on for a long time around the city. It's just moved to our direction, and we need to be better neighbors. We need to be neighbors that are understanding and get out and meet our neighbors so that we can figure out these issues together. I would like to say also with our city services, we're still going to be purchasing from the city of Atlanta. So why wouldn't we have a seat at the table and maintain that? Yes, our taxes are high. I also advocate that we have transparency in our government, full technology on our website. We're a technology hub, and we're sorely behind on our City of Atlanta website for that. So I feel like, too, we also need to not only add police, but also expand the pre-arrest diversion team, because crime isn't from 7 to 7 Monday through Friday. We need to open up all of our resources.
Thank you so much. Next question from Rose Scott.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, 79% of APS students live at the poverty level. Anything that comes out of City Hall, whether it's legislation, what have you, affordable housing policy, it affects these kids and their households. How do you recommend that the City of Atlanta improve its relationship with APS, and if there are any other programs that need to be implemented or new initiatives to help these households stay within the district?
Yes, thank you for the question. I plan on really working robustly with APS. I have a program called the Institutes of Atlanta, and the Institutes of Atlanta, we will work with APS to build institutes after historic minorities, and so we can have after-school programs for the children. We're going to do P3 public-private partnerships with corporations within the city to get these programs started. So we have to give our students something to imagine. order for them to work hard and in order for them to excel to be. As far as the parents go, I would like to also include in the budget for the Institutes of Atlanta a stipend for the parents, because to get the kids there, you have to get the parents involved. And so once you have both parties involved, you can do that. And I will be the mayor that is really responsible for the relationship building in Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next question from Wilborn Nobles.
Councilman Brown, Mayor Baum's administration has created an office dedicated to LGBTQ affairs to improve the outreach and support for that community. How would you build upon that work, and what else needs to be done?
Thank you for that question. Well, for starters, I believe that we need to have an LGBTQ community center right here in the heart of our city. I believe that the work that Mayor Bottoms has done is admirable, but it's time that we do more for a community that's been left behind in this city for far too long. Our HOPWA program has been just a disaster in this city, and we've got to truly get a grip on it and start paying our vendors so our LGBTQ youth are not continuously facing homelessness and being put on the streets of Atlanta. I think there is so much more we could be doing to be more inclusive of our trans community and our binary community, and ensuring that our policies are not criminalizing them in the heart of this city. Thank you.
Next question from Rose Scott.
Thank you. This question is for Mr. Kasim Reed. Mr. Reed, you spent time in the state legislature.
Yes.
As you know, it seems every session there's a bill that's brought up to either take over the Atlanta airport, or even just recently with Governor Kemp saying that perhaps that there needs to be a better public safety patrol. If you are elected mayor again, can you assure voters that you can prevent all of that from happening?
Yes, I can say that because I did. I was mayor for 8 years. No bills moved significantly to take Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. In fact, I had the best working relationship with a Republican governor of any Democrat mayor in the United States because we were focused on jobs. Governor Deal and I were leading during the worst economy in 80 years, the Great Recession. And so what we did was focus on the 20% of the things that we agreed upon, and we put the 80% aside. Now that we're dealing with a potential city of Buckhead and conversations around the airport, which will not move because a Biden's administration's FAA would never authorize it, I intend to use 20 years of relationships with the governor who I served with in the Georgia State Senate, the speaker and lieutenant governor, and the committee chairs to make sure that Atlanta's interests are protected and that we're cooperating on public safety with the Georgia State Patrol.
Thank you. Wilborn Nobles.
Council President Moore, a new effort from the Kasim Reed campaign has pointed out that you sponsored, as a council member, you sponsored the 2010 amendment to not hire new officers and to not give current officers a raise. They also pointed out you were the only council member to vote against the purchase of police body cameras in 2015. Would you kindly discuss the rationale behind your actions during this time?
Well, the votes that they're referring to are votes on the final cookbook budgets that came through the Reed administration that I did not support. But if you go back and look at the record and the deliberation, you will see that I fought and voted for amendments. Actually put forth the amendment to give our firefighters and police a raise that he denied. As it relates to the body cameras, I was the council member who authored the legislation to initially ask that we have body cameras. But the body cameras that were given were body cameras that were inferior, and it was a shady deal, and I voted no to the vendor that was selected by the Reed administration. If we had the right kind of cameras during our Rayshard Brooks incident, those cameras would have never fallen off. We wouldn't be looking at pavement. We would have had some real video of what was happening on the ground, and plus, they would have alerted other officers in the area that there was an issue going on.
30-second rebuttal from Mr. Reed.
My rebuttal is that we built the biggest video integration center in the state of Georgia and one of the largest in the Southeast, that she voted against budgets to pay police more, to build the Atlanta Police Department. She has a commercial where she talks about opening rec centers. She voted against funding rec centers for children. So the bottom line is that she has not led, and when we had major efforts around issues, she opposed them.
We're going to move on to the next question from Rose Scott.
Thank you. This question is for Ms. Rebecca King. Ms. King, homelessness in Atlanta, we all know that it exists. Often people will tell you that there are not enough emergency shelters, there are not enough intake centers. What can the city of Atlanta do in that area, whether it's working, or I'll let you answer that. What can the city of Atlanta do better?
I think we first need to have a housing first model. I mean, that's critical. In Finland, it's showing success. So we need to look at that opportunity. I also, in my administration, will put together a team that will work on crime and homelessness and be a resource hub. There are over 40 organizations that are offering services to the homeless, but it's not coordinated. And so I think we need to be the spoke and to get those people off the streets immediately by opening up, if it's hotels, buildings, housing, whatever we can to get them on the path to live out of homelessness.
Next question.
Councilman Dickens, does the city operate in any way when looking at housing? Do they ever juxtapose gentrification maps with areas showing growth in housing in the community? And if so, as mayor, can you operate the city where you compare the growth of gentrification with areas that are dealing with the housing crisis?
Yeah, I think I'm understanding your question is related to where the growth and activity is happening, but making sure that we don't have displacement. We call that trying to have development without displacement. For far too long, several parts of our city have suffered and not had the amenities that they want, like grocery stores, like medical facilities, like job centers. So these communities deserve those amenities, and we should be investing in grocery stores so they don't have a food desert and be an unhealthy community. But what we don't want is, as we attract those things, as we attract new residents, that we don't displace those residents that are there. This is why we have to put in place various measures to be able to freeze seniors' taxes increases, but to also be able to give people down payment assistance to be able to live in these communities and afford the homes. That's working with NACA, with Invest Atlanta, which I served on for 3 years, but also to have community land trusts so that we can have permanently affordable housing. And of course, to build on Atlanta Housing Authority land that hasn't been built on in 12 years.
We have about 5 minutes left of conversation with the reporters, journalists on our panel, and then we're going to get to closing statements. We have covered a lot of ground so far, so let's just get to some final questions. Rose.
Thank you. This question is for Ms. Sharon Gay. Ms. Gay, depending on what neighborhood you're in, some want more bike lanes, others just want sidewalks. When you look at what Atlanta is doing right now in terms of its infrastructure, especially with its streets, where do you propose to begin in trying to come up with solutions for the city? And what are the most pressing issues as it relates to transit and infrastructure?
Yeah, this is a big challenge. We all talk about crime and public safety, but public infrastructure and particularly transportation and transit are huge issues. I think there are a couple of things we need to do. One, we need to improve our capacity to spend the transportation dollars we have faster, more effectively, more efficiently. We need to fix the problems in purchasing, fix the problems in the bidding process. We need to partner once again with our community improvement districts and our other private partners who we can expand our capacity. The other thing is we need to work more at a more granular level with neighborhoods. I would organize the government so that the decision-making process is with much more input from individual neighborhoods about the infrastructure that they need, because as your question indicates, not everybody needs the same things. Different neighborhoods need different things with regard to, some may need sidewalks, some may really want bike lanes. For some, they don't have good access to transit. And so I certainly would partner with MARTA on the transit planning, but really work at a much more local level to get the neighborhoods the infrastructure they need.
Thank you so much. Next question.
Mr. Reed, what can the mayor do to help improve the performance of Atlanta Public Schools?
I think that the mayor needs to get actively involved in our COVID and pandemic response and support and listen to experts. I don't believe that in the 18 months since our kids were out of school that they were kept at grade level. And so I think the mayor needs to galvanize the city in partnership with APS and their new superintendent, and to really focus on that COVID gap, because it's the thing that's nearest to us right now. And if Atlanta doesn't get involved and help on the COVID gap, in my judgment, we're going to, one, cripple those young people, and then unfortunately, I think we'll see it in behavior down the road. So if I am fortunate enough to be elected mayor, from day one, I'm going to be coordinating with APS and their leader to find out how we can fill that gap and then galvanize the corporate community to make sure that those young people have exactly what they need to be brought up to grade level and not to have missed a moment.
Thank you. Next question from Rose Scott.
Yes, this question is for Councilmember Andre Dickens. I want to go back to our youth for a moment, and that is, you at once proposed an idea to help the water boys and water girls, but it seems like nothing really came of that. If it did, then not much was print or broadcast about it, but it is an issue. Yeah. So how do you propose that the City of Atlanta either strengthen its workforce devoted solely to young folks in the summer, or some type of program so the kids won't be on the streets, as Ms. King said, coming in and out of traffic? What are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, thank you, Rose, for that question. Actually, the three of us last night participated in a forum with APS. We went to the to APS headquarters and had the youth ask us questions along with the superintendent and school board members. We spent our time being educated. We were listening, and we gave our ideas. And one of the ideas and conversations was about these quote-unquote water boys. I expressed that I sold water and Krispy Kremes and all types of things in a structured program when I was a youth, and that fueled my entrepreneurship spirit. And that's why now I work with programs like HEY, helping empower youth. I Am a Father First, Next Level Boys Academy, to be able to train these young men and women on entrepreneurship skills, to give them mentoring, to teach them in STEM. That's why my Tech Bridge training program is in the high schools and middle schools, that is training them how to code, so that one day they'll be able to sell software or sell real estate. And that's what we have to do. That's why I want to create the Atlanta Department of Labor, because it will help our kids be able to have jobs. We already have summer jobs at $15 an hour. We need to do more.
Councilmember Dickens, thank you so much. We have time for a brief question, Wilborn, with a 30-second answer. Go for it.
Ms. Gay, how will you address the homelessness crisis?
In 30 seconds. I think there are a couple of things we need to do. We need to continue the effort that is underway to build more supportive and transitional housing. I don't think shelters have a purpose for emergencies, but we really need to move people into stable housing with support services so that they can get the treatment they need and address their underlying problems. The other thing is we need more people, more navigators to help people get to those places, because you don't just walk in off the street one day. There's a lot of effort to get people ready to accept transitional housing. So we need more people to do that and more places for them to go.
Thank you so much. 30 seconds. That is all the time we have for those questions. Each candidate will now have 60 seconds for a closing statement. And Sharon Gay, you get the first closing statement.
The writer of Deuteronomy reminds us, we live in cities we did not build. We drink from wells we did not build. We harvest from vineyards we did not plant. Everyone listening tonight, everyone on the stage tonight, has reaped the benefits of the leaders who have come before us, who have built a great city. But we're in a troubled place right now. Our city's in trouble. Our city is adrift. We are really at a pivot point and an inflection point about the decisions we make about leaders and who we hire, in essence, through the election to bring us forward. Will you Atlantans make the decision to stick with the failed policies or the failed leadership of the past, or will you look toward visionary leaders for the future? I submit to you that I bring to you fresh leadership, new ideas, a broad depth and breadth of experience, a tremendous amount of management and leadership skills, and I would be the breath of fresh air and the movement we need to move Atlanta forward back to that great city we know it can be.
Thank you, Kasim Reed. You may give your closing statement.
Atlanta, our city is at risk of breaking apart. In 12 months, there will most likely be a referendum on whether Buckhead will remain a part of our community. Breaking apart is terrible for both, but the people it really hurts will be the children in the APS school. $232 million that will be lost if the community of Buckhead leaves. The reason that they're contemplating leaving is because of the reasons that's impacting us all. A 58% spike in crime and violence, an increase in murders to 157 people who lost loved ones. When I was your mayor, I made this city the safest that it had been in 40 years. I hired 900 police officers, and we had the most dynamic economy that we have had. And so my sense is that on the other side of this challenge, we will meet it, we will conquer it, and we will remain one Atlanta. I ask for your vote.
Thank you. Rebecca King, please give your closing statement.
Thank you. Voters doing the same thing over and over again will not give you a different result. It is time for Atlanta, a fresh voice, to have a change and have her spirit rejuvenated. We need to tackle rising crime together. We need to work on homelessness together and make our city the model city that it is and should be, so that we are proud to call Atlanta our home and people will want to visit and live here. Thank you, and I will look forward to being your next mayor.
Thank you. Antonio Brown, it's your turn.
Atlanta residents, generational poverty, mass gentrification, and a lack of affordable housing are destabilizing our city, leading to record unemployment, an unsheltered crisis, and a continuum of crime. We are living in perilous times, and unless we do something different, we will face some of the same struggles of our past. This is why I'm running to be your next mayor. As mayor, I will create an inclusive ecosystem that provides quality jobs, access to affordable housing, and empowers safe communities so no Atlantan is ever left behind again. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you all today.
Thank you. A couple of you haven't taken your full 60 seconds. I'll remind you, you have it. Felicia Moore, you can give your closing statement.
Atlanta, integrity matters and honesty matters. And today, leadership matters. In 2009, at the Great Recession, we were in critical condition in this city. And some leaders stood up and were courageous in an election year and voted, because it's not about us. It's about you, our voters. We want to make sure that we have a city government that we can all be proud of. And with the tough decisions that we have before us, we need to be able to trust those who are in power and those who are speaking to us. We need to make sure every neighborhood in this city is safe. We need to make sure that we get the city services that we pay for. And we also need to make sure that we do it transparently, with ethics and accountability. I will work every day as hard as I can to make sure when I leave this office, I leave it better than I found it.
Thank you so much. Richard Wright, it is your turn to give a closing statement.
Thank you for having me. I just want to say between 2013 and 2016, there were 381 homicides in Atlanta. That's 381 funerals. And in 2017, the general fund had a negative balance that year of $24 million. Are we going to keep repeating the past? My name is Richard Wright. I am a CPA, the son of a nurse. I want to ask Atlanta some questions. Are you a taxpayer? If so, I am a CPA with the expertise to manage the budget. Are you a concerned parent? I outlined the Institutes of Atlanta to show you that I am dedicated to your kids. Are you a business owner in the city? As a CPA, I have the experience of working with businesses, growing businesses, and bringing them to the levels where they need to be at. So I ask for your vote come November 2nd. Richard Wright for mayor. Thank you, Atlanta.
Thank you so much. Andre Dickens, you get the final closing statement.
Great. Thank you all for your time today and partaking in this conversation. I'm Andre Dickens, and to me, this election is about the future and the soul of Atlanta. Are we going to move forward in peace, productivity, and prosperity, or are we going to go backwards to displacement, destruction, and corruption? No. I say we move forward. We move forward in prosperity, in equity, and in safety. That's why I have my Safe Streets plan that has been vetted by former police chiefs across the nation. That's also why I am going to give to make sure that we build or preserve 20,000 units of affordable housing in 8 years, built on my demonstrated leadership. And then that's why I'm going to be the jobs mayor, to make sure people have opportunities to thrive, like I have with my technology program and all of the other programs that we have in this city, to combine them to be able to let Atlanta flourish, to tap into this untapped talent. I will run this city well, and I'll make sure it's run well for everyone. I'm Andre Dickens. I'll make you safe, and I'll make you proud.
That concludes our debate. We would like to remind voters that Election Day is Tuesday, November 2nd. Early voting is already underway. Our thanks to the candidates and to our panel of journalists, Rose Scott of WABE, Wilborn Nobles of the AJC, Richard Wright, Kasim Reed, Felicia Moore, Rebecca King, Sharon Gay, Andre Dickens, and Antonio Brown. We'd also like to thank the Atlanta Press Club for arranging today's debate. For more information about the Atlanta Press Club and all of the debates they will be hosting this election season, visit atlantapressclub.org. I'm Rickey Bevington. Thank you for joining us for the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series.